Okay, so flip it around. Okay. You have to. Okay. I'm gonna put this. Or turn it around and switch the orientation. Okay. So basically, we know that that's the mitzvah. If a person doesn't have a house, there's no mitzvah. There's no mitzvah in Chanukah. And I want to prove that point, okay? So now the question is, what's the pshat in that? So first of all, how do we know that to be true? I have to switch it the other way. Who cares? Okay. It's good enough. What? It's good enough. Oh, because the table is thing. Okay. It's good. So, is the pshat? Let's start with the case of mezuzah. If you don't have a house, are you mechuyev to go buy a house so you can put up a mezuzah? It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. You want to go do the mitzvah of a mezuzah? Are you mechuyev to go buy a house so you can do the mitzvah of mezuzah? So no, obviously not. The whole mitzvah is to do it on your house. So if Chanukah also has to do with your house, so are you mechuyev to make sure that you have a house for Chanukah? Are you make sure you have a house for Chanukah so you can go light? Or if you don't have a house, then you don't have to light. Someone told me that their Rebbe, wherever they were, in a certain place, so held that a dormitory, since you only sleep there, but you don't eat there, and you don't eat somewhere else, so it's a big suffix. Basically, I don't really know if you really have anywhere that you're mechuyev. So you should move out of the dorm and move into your parents' house for Hanukkah so you could light properly.
That's not your house either.
Well, you're living there now for a week, so that's okay.
You're living in the dorm.
Yeah, but you're not eating there. You don't have meals there. So.
What if it's the same building?
That's better. I think this case was there was a cafeteria building somewhere else and there was a dormitory. What?
He's responsible for Chanukah break.
Yeah, so it was a whole thing. It was an interesting, quote unquote chumrah or whatever.
So living is defined by eating?
Living could be defined by eating or sleeping is machlekes.
But if you have a house and your kitchen is out of order, do you still eat in your house?
Where do you eat?
You eat in a restaurant, or you eat at somebody else's house.
I mean, you don't have a place to eat in your home.
Let's say.
I mean, yeah, it's a big question is, let's say you have guests for Shabbos Chanukah. They're sleeping one place, but they're eating by you. What's their house for Chanukah?
So my question really is, eating defines?
Yeah, very, very likely. Yeah.
Hotels.
Okay, but hotel, you're in one place. So it could be, is it your room? Is it okay, so these are questions. So are you mechuyev to go make sure that you have a house to light on Chanukah? Right? It's negate people flying. A lot of times you're flying, and if you're flying overnight, so you could leave here before the Zman Adlaka. You get to where you're going after the morning. So overnight you had nowhere to light. So do you say, what?
You can't compare it to mezuzah.
That's going to be the whole shir. I'll tell you, and we'll decide if you compare it to mezuzah. Hold on. Right? Do you say that, well, since the mitzvah is to do it on your home, so therefore since you don't have a home, you're potter, or it's like an oinus. Really, every person has a chiyuv to go do the mitzvah of Chanukah. Now, where do you do it? The makom is on your door of your house. You don't have a house, you happen to be, you have nowhere to light, but you're still really chayiv, so you're not doing the mitzvah. So the nafkamina is, how much should you avoid that type of flight? You have a flight. You want to go to Eretz Yisrael, the only way you take a noon flight from here, you land 7 a.m. over there. You're not going to have anywhere to light. And you don't have anyone lighting in your house either for you. So, do you say, well, look, I'll be potter. So, I'm not running, I'm not going to get the mitzvah of Hanukkah, but I'm not doing anything wrong either. I'm potter. Or do you say, no. I'm putting myself in a matzav of oinus. I'm putting myself in a situation that I can't do the mitzvah, but I really have to do the mitzvah. I just don't have a house to do it on. So therefore, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
There, in theory, you would do it on the airplane. You just can't. Or
what?
Can you do it on the airplane?
So some of the Sfarim, I did see Sfarim.
Try it.
I did see Sfarim written now that say, light a candle on your tray, and if they come blow it out, then they'll blow it out. I mean, it's not so. I mean, now it sounds pretty unlikely that that's shayach.
I'm
not
not
go
what I
over
was
very.
asking.
What?
That won't go over.
I don't think that would go over so well.
That's not what I was asking.
And you probably, what? I don't know if that's shaykh at all.
That wasn't my question. My question was that he has no chiyuv because he has no house, or the house that he has, he's not able to light.
That's not called a house. Oh, that's the question.
So-
Okay.
no, so it means-
Because you don't have a
Let's say he
private.
was able to light wherever, he was able to light candles. If LOL says no problem, go ahead light. Right? So.
Okay, so you want to know is okay? So that's another shaila. Is a candle? Is a house? Is a airplane? So the closest thing we have to that is chuvas that are written about boats and about trains. So let's go through. I wish I had the papers here, because
Who said Chanukah is Mr. Kim? It's not Mr. Shiur. Why are we assuming
I'm
that?
I'm throwing out the questions there. Everyone's running to assumptions and attacking me. I'm not, we're only 3 minutes into the shir. I'm saying if you're as confused now as when we're over as you are now, then you have time now. Okay. So first of all, we have to get into agreement that the mitzvah is on the bias. So the Mishnah, the Gemara says ner ish ubeisoy. You're supposed to light on the bias. You're supposed to light on the window. And even this, there's a lot of poskim that say you shouldn't make a bracha on lighting in a shul because a shul is not a bias, but they were masakin to light in a. But other public lightings that have nothing to do with the house has no shaykhs to the mitzvah of Chanukah because it's not a bias. So there's no mitzvah to light in those places. So now there's a good.
What about the other way? Is that clear? A bias without the peach. Meaning, I have a house, I'm not in it.
No. But
I'm not in it.
it may be some sort of hybrid. You're saying. So
Saying, is that-
well, but you're not going to mezuzah either there. So but if you're living in two batim, you don't have to light in both either. So
Right.
because you have Chazal or Misakin that you have on one of your batim light, maybe al tzachshad, the Gemara says. But so the Gemara says like this: there's a takana of a birkas haroya. There's something called the birkas haroya. Birkas haroya is a Chazal or Misakin that if you do not light yourself, then you didn't do the mitzvah. You could at least perform the mitzvah by, if you see someone else's candles, you could see the candles, you can make a birkas haroya on those candles. You don't say lahadlik ner, but you say shas anisim, and possibly shechiyana. So, that's only talking about a case that you did not do the mitzvah. Somebody you didn't do the mitzvah, at least do the birkas haroya. By the way, what would be the scenario? What's the scenario that you didn't? What's the scenario that you didn't light yourself, but you could do birkas haroya? So nowadays, I had one case. I was telling you, we had a case that of Bach in Yeshiva, and he's like they're like sitting there in l'chadoidi, and they're starting to do Yevon, some sort of niggin, and then he's like, he forgot to light Ner Chanukah. So he forgot to light Ner Chanukah. It's already Shabbos. So what do you do? So Mishkiach said, go and find someone else's candles and make a birkas haroya. So
Your airplane, if you see it from the airplane.
So Rashi says, Rashi's case is talking about a guy that doesn't have a
I was
bias.
gonna say a homeless guy.
Yeah.
technically, but-
So Rashi over there in Shabbos, haroya ha'over bashuk v'roya be'echad hachatzeros doilek umatzas b'shem Rabbeinu Yitzchak ben Yehuda sha'am b'shem Rabbeinu Yankov b'lo huskaka bracha zu elu mishal hidlik beveisai. Tell me he didn't light. Oh, liyoshev b'sfina, or he's in a boat. So I guess he's in a boat. Like you're saying, he could see someone else's candles. He doesn't have his own place to light. Memela is potter. Now, Ramosha in Chuvas in Yeridea goes on this Rashi, and he says, you see from Rashi, a guy does not have a house, he's potter. He's potter from lighting. And don't tell me, maybe he was on the boat, but punked the boat. Maybe he didn't have candles on the boat. Maybe that's what Rashi means. Well, if the point is he didn't have candles, so Rashi just say anyone doesn't have candles. What does he get involved with the boat for? So the result of Moshe, you see, Ein loy mish yad bezem mashma Rashi mish ein loy bayis klal v'yoshen b'chutz, a homeless guy ki unshinutza b'midbar. You don't light if you don't have a house. You're a homeless guy, you do not light because the chiyuv was on the bayis. Okay. So that's what Moshe says. The Marsham says that the boat of why didn't the guy light on the boat? That was your question. Why didn't the guy light on the boat? Isn't the boat considered some sort of house? So the Marsham says, because Marsham was talking if the guy has is on a ban, right? A train. So he's on the train. So he said if he has a split space to sleep, a miyuchadic space, that's considered a room. The fact that it's moving doesn't matter, and that you should light on the train. And he says this that Rashi's saying you don't light on a boat. It's talking about a boat that has no cover. So by definition, a house has to have a roof. It doesn't have a roof. It's not a house. So that's what Rashi was talking about. It wasn't talking about our cruise ships or whatever. It's talking about a boat. The guy's traveling on. He has nowhere to go. So that's where he's on that boat. But if a guy is on a train and it's a covered place and he has a place to stay and to sleep, Chanukah should light on the train. That's what he said. But that's the idea of having a house. You have a house. The chiyuv's on the house. The chiyuv, you have to have a house to light. But we still didn't get down to our point. Is it like mezuzah or not?
Light on the train, like lighting the door.
Because he eats and sleeps on the train. You think it, right? I don't know. I don't know what to do. A guy comes for Shabbos and you put him up next door. He's sleeping there, eating here. What's his house for Chanukah?
Someone goes to a Chanukah Mesi, but way before Shkia, and he's going to be there till...
No. So Chanukah Mesi is zikr not your house. It's zikr not your house. That's not your house.
Yeah, it's on home.
He's Chanukah Shiur. You go to someone's house for a Chanukah Mesiva, you give him $1, you can live with that, even if you're not sleeping there.
No, but that's not your house on any level. You're not sleeping there.
Why can't you make a bracha on one of the places, not be mafsek, light in both places?
Why not?
I mean, why can't you? You could. The question is, you have to.
What?
You could. The question is, you have to. Yeah.
In yeshivas, they light where they eat. Huh?
In yeshivas, they generally light where they eat, but it's not clear that that's the ikra halacha. It could be that's for safety.
Right, that's
That's where Shiva told us. That's where Meir Stern told us. It's for safety. The way he said it is let's say something chas v'shalom happens. So something chas v'shalom happens. So Pesach, this yeshiva is not a big town. The fire trucks are going to come. And then let's say there's a fire somewhere else. So you're putting that guy in sakana. I guess that's exactly. So anyway, so the but the point is that you need a makom yuchad to light, and it has to be your house. If you don't have a house, you're potter. Now our question is it like mezuzah that if you're potter, it means you don't have the mitzvah, or you really have the mitzvah because Chazal want every yid, just like you have to put on tefillin, but it's like you have a mitzvah to put on tefillin, but never you have no arms, you're potter, right? So really you have a mitzvah, but you don't have nowhere to do it, or you have no mitzvah because the whole mitzvah is to do it like the bias, like the mezuzah. So there's a Tosfos in Sukkah. Tosfos in Sukkah says, why were they misak in this bracha of royeh? It's a strange thing. Why were they misak in the bracha of royeh? They weren't misak in the bracha. If you don't have matzah and you see someone else's matzah, make a bracha on the matzah. You don't have tefillin, you have someone else's tefillin, make a bracha on the tefillin. Why here they were misak in this thing? You don't have neiris, but someone else has neiris. Go misak and bracha when you see his neiris. Why? It's a very unique bracha. Zok Tosfos because there's a lot of times people cannot do the mitzvah because they don't have a house. And therefore, ve'im biyadam l'kayim a mitzvah. And this is what he says. But he says, but according to that, I don't know why they didn't do it on mezuzah. They should have done it on mezuzah also. I mean, it says mashma that Chanukah is like mezuzah. If you don't have a house, you're potter. But they were misak in a backup way to be shaykh to the mitzvah. At least you could see someone else's. So they should have done that on mezuzah. Let's say you don't have a mezuzah. I never had the schus of doing mitzvah mezuzah in my life, but I passed by a mezuzah. Maybe I should be allowed to make a bracha of roya on the mezuzah. So it's mashma from Tosfos that the chiyuv is only on the bias. If you don't have a bias, you're potter. So again, so the shayla here is: are you mechuyev to go spend money? Are you mechuyev to go spend money to get yourself a bias? So according to this, you would be potter because you have no mitzvah. Okay. So, do you have to go change your ticket? How much money do you have to spend to change your ticket? You're going to Eretz Yisrael, you're going to miss the night of lighting. How much money do you have to spend? So, if the pshat would be, you have to get the more expensive ticket so you could light, because otherwise you're putting yourself in oinus, and you have to spend up to a chomish of your nechasim to become the mitzvah. Or do you say, no, I don't have a mitzvah that night, it's fine. That night I won't have a mitzvah. It's a big nafkamina, lo chayra. Right?
Is this specific to their Hanukkah? I mean, this is.
Yeah, because in Chanukah, this shaila is that it's shy to the bias, but if you don't have a bias, are you really chayiv or not? So Reb Chaim Kanievsky brings down a machlokes between himself and his shver. So he says that he held, like Rashi we read now, and like this Tosas and Sukkah, that someone that has no house is potter. Rabbi Yashiv said someone that has no house is mechuyev to go and spend money and make sure they find themselves a house for Chanukah. You can't have no house for Chanukah because then you won't be doing the mitzvah. And Rabbi Yashiv held that it's not an excuse. You'll be potter, you have an oinus, you're not going to have anywhere to do the mitzvah, but l'maisa you have a chiyuv and you're not being mekayim it. So Zok Rabbi Yashiv, what's Dr. Chaim? Then I was looking around for a raya to Rabbi Yashiv. So I found a raya. It's a very interesting raya from the Lashon of the Rambam, but we don't have Rambams here. Anyway, the Rambam says there's two types of mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah which he calls is a mitzvah mitzvah shadam chayiv lehishtadel. You have to go get it, like sukkah, lulav, matzah. You have to. The yesh mitzvah she'ena chayva. There's a mitzvah that's not obligated. El doimel rishos. It's kigoyin mezuzah. They're not chayiv to get a house. He says she'ein adam chayiv lishkon bebayis. Chayiv mezuzah. Kadesh yasm. They're not chayiv to go buy a house to do mezuzah. El imratza lishkon koyam ba'oil b'sfina yeshiv. You want to go live your whole life in a boat or in a place that's potter from mezuzah. You could, no problem. Then the Rambam says, and there's also mitzvahs derabbanan that you're chayiv to do, like mezuzah, like Chanukah. Sounds like Chanukah is like the first category, just on a derabbanan level. Meaning Chanukah is not like mezuzah. Chanukah, you're mechuyev to go figure out how to do the mitzvah of Chanukah. Okay.
You put mezuzahs on a boat?
That's a very good question. It's a good question. There's a long tshuva written by, I think, the Pri Megadim or someone. The source for this is that tshuva. I don't remember who wrote the tshuva. And the whole tshuva is based on the question if Noach had a mezuzah on his teva. He lived there for a year. And did he have a mezuzah? And there was 3 floors.
Did he have
It's a whole.
doors?
Huh?
I don't know. Did he have doors?
Well, he had a door into the teva.
Okay, but it was, what if you take a door and you totally seal it up? I'm not opening this door for.
Well, you're going to open it for a year later, So,
There were rooms.
So let's go. What does the Olam hold about the following shiloh? Rav Shlomo Zalman has the following shiloh, amazing shiloh, great shiloh. You're by your family, your in-laws, or wherever you're going. You're by your family for Shabbos Chanukah. You went for Shabbos Chanukah, and you survived. And now comes Motzi Shabbos, and you got to get out of there. That's it. I'm done. So Motzi Shabbos, I'm leaving, right? So now, for the duration of Shabbos, your house was the host that you're staying by, right? Your parents, whatever, your host that you were staying, your family member, that was your house for Shabbos. And Motzi Shabbos comes as man adlaka. It's still basically your house, right? But right after you light, you're going to leave. So Shlomo Zalman says, the halacha is that you have to put in enough oil to last a half hour. So Dr. Shlomo Zalman, do you also have to own the house for a half hour? Right? Just like if you wouldn't have oil that would last a half hour, you would be potter. So he says, let's say I'm closing on my house, I'm selling it, and the sale is effective. We're going to make the sale effective at 7 p.m. So I'm going to light at 6:45. So after 15 minutes, it's not my house anymore. So can you light in such a case? Because for the half hour, it's not my house. I don't. Just like if I wouldn't have oil for a half hour, if I don't have a house for a half hour, so I'm potter or whatever. I'm not makayim mitzvah.
You're not going to sleep and eat there.
Right. So he says, if you were there and you're still there and you didn't leave yet, so it's still considered your house, even if you're not gonna sleep there tonight. But right now, you slept there last night, you ate there today, you're still there. But if
You have to be there for that half hour?
that says kashayla. Yeah.
Not physically. It has to be your bias for the half hour.
So how does that work?
Yeah, physically,
I'm
basically.
Going back home after I left. I have to stay there
You don't
for the
have
half
to stay.
hour.
Well, if you get in your car, right? If all the right, we used to always have. I drove from Lakewood to Baltimore, and then I want to get back home. I want to get back to Lakewood, so I light and leave. I pack up my car and go. So that means I'm not staying there anymore.
Supposed to stay a half hour when. after
So
you
it's
get ready.
considered your bias.
Okay, but let's say you're rushing out. I'm saying
You're on your way home. You already left. It's still considered your bias just because you were there for Shabbos.
if you stay there, if you light at the time you light, it's still your house. But that's how we paskin.
But if you know you're gonna leave, then you should light in the other place.
And if you leave a minute later, so the candles were lit in your house for half an hour?
That's the shaila. If you lit and you know that you're leaving in a minute after you light, so the pshat is it's just the equivalent of not having put in a half hour of oil. You don't have you put in a half hour of oil, but you don't have the house for a half hour.
So you wait, when you're alive, and you have another place.
Everyone comes up to grace eight says, obviously, if you're going to wait, it's good. My shaila is, do you have to wait?
But then the oil, meaning if you, let's say this is the case, you have the house, meaning.
I have the house, but I know it's ruach mitzuya. It's like a ruach mitzuya that I know that I'm leaving within a half hour.
Isn't it still your choice? Meaning it's like when you lit, you have enough oil for a half an hour, but then
Yeah, but
you know someone's
gonna pick up the menorah and take it away in a minute, as soon as you finish lighting.
Is that the same thing?
Well, it's the same thing we started with the airplane. Does that work? I'm going to light the candle. I know that the second that they see it, they're putting it out. So does that work?
Meaning here, it's
You
your
might be
choice
alive
to
in
leave.
that
Meaning you could theoretically stay. Meaning it's shy, just like the oil. If it would blow out, but you had enough oil for a half an hour, you could stay for half an hour. You just chose to leave.
Okay, so this is a good question. So you can get onto the slums. The shaila is, does it really depend on all this? Or do you say, if the pshat is that it's like a mezuzah, so then taka, you need to come onto some lumdas, you have to have the house for a half hour. I'm not sure 100% if you go the other way, does it really telling that? But all these fars, Rav Shlomo Zalman Dan's all these fars. Rav Shlomo Zalman Dan's a case where in actual they light outside, if you know there's a strong wind, it's going to be put out in a half hour. He done the case of the airplane. All these cases you know, but the interesting shaila of the house, you actually have to stay there for a half hour after the Zman Hadlaka, because otherwise you don't have a house at that point. It's not considered your house. A Chanukah party is not considered your house. Because you stayed in your house, you're going back to your house, you're just going out, visiting people. That doesn't become your house, and you have to let in your home. But here, where you stayed and slept with someone for Shabbos, that became your house for Shabbos, and it's still your house now. Motzei Shabbos, that's where we have the Shabbos.
Is better to light when you stay for Shabbos or light much later at night when you're sleeping?
Right.
Where's better?
It's a good shaila.
And
I
why
would
make the
personally, if you're not going to stay for a decent amount of time, you're just mamish running out, then maybe you should light where you're going. But if you're going to stay and for bring a little bit, you're going to stay for Mlav Malka and whatever, then you should light right away.
Why they make these brachas
People
when
from
they
Brain
make
will
these
stay.
parties?
What?
You don't light it home.
In a case where you're away for Shabbos and you're staying
stay for
Motzei
2
Shabbos
hours,
for a
yeah.
few hours, I would light there where you're staying. If you're leaving right away, like our case, and the shaila would be, let's say you're leaving right away and you're going on a plane, you're not going to have a place to light. Or you're going to get back and you're by yourself, 2 a.m. If you're with your family, 2 a.m, you can light in your home when you get home, but it's a b'diavad dikazman. So that's why you should stay where you are for at least a half hour. But that's an interesting case which Shlomo Zalman has. Now, what's it called? Now, this machloikes seems to be a machloikes between the Bach and the Magen Avraham. Very interesting shaila. The shaila was, another nafkamina, is if a person is traveling, but they have someone lighting for them at home. They have their family's home, and the family's going to be lighting for them at home. But, so technically he's yotzei. He's yotzei with his family lighting for him. The shaila that Rav Gedalia Felder had, he sent it to the Minchas Yitzchak, was that he's traveling from Europe, and the zman that she's lighting for him, his wife, is before Chanukah for him. So now she's lighting for him, but it didn't work for him. By the time it's Chanukah for him, the candles are out in his house. So does it work? Does it go by where his house is? His house has a menorah. Or does it go by him because he never lit? I'm going to have the shaila this year because I'm going to Argentina on Sunday. So over there, even though it's the same time zone, but over there it's the summer. So the Shkia is much later. So by the time that my family lights here, I'm going to be over there, still in the middle of the day. So can't go with the family lighting.
Where you are.
What? No, I'm going to land in the day. I'm going to be at night, but I don't know where I'm going to be at night. I'm going to a hotel or something for one night. I don't have a good place to light, really. So figure it out.
If the hotel doesn't let you light fire in the room, you're gonna technically light anyway, then it's considered like a ner guzzle, and therefore you're not guilty.
Uh-huh.
Why can't you light in the
We're
hotel?
talking about this.
Yeah. 'Cause they don't-
Let you light fire in the rooms, so therefore it's a stolen flame. So it's not, therefore you're not guilty.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it.
You're allowed, in Argentina, you're allowed to steal. It's fine. There's that's like the most kosher stealing you're, you know.
It's against the policy being in the room, so therefore you don't have to trust the room anymore. There's a whole lot about this. Thought from the go on vacation, during the Chanukah break, and light in the hotel room.
Right. So the no, I have to think about how to do it.
The room was stolen.
But there's an interesting shaila. So now, if your wife lit for you and it's the same time zone and it's all good, your wife lit for you and you're traveling and your family, so your house has a menorah in it, and she lit for you already. At that point, should you make a birkas haroya or not? Does birkas haroya? You're on the road. You don't have anywhere good to light. So make a birkas haroya. So you make a birkas haroya because you're not lighting, or do you say no? But you fulfilled the mitzvah. I did someone lighting from your house. So since you fulfilled the mitzvah, you don't make a birkas haraya. Birkas haraya is someone that didn't do the mitzvah. I did the mitzvah. My house has a menorah.
I'm doing the mitzvah, but you never made that
Pashas,
mitzvah.
why do you need that, going away? Any cases like that, al yidei shlit,
Me,
right? There's cases where you can light al yidei shlit.
Mi shaloi hidlik ve'ein asad l'hadlik ve'gam ein madlikin olav b'soich beisai kisharoya ner Chanukah mavach shas anisim. So they didn't light for you in your house. Now, so let's say another question. Your wife, you were away the first night Chanukah, and your wife lit for you in the house, and you come back second night. Do you make shechion on the second night? I think that's the shaila here. So, do you make shechion on the second night?
Why does it matter if you are in a different time zone?
Forget different time zone.
That's still a different day, but why isn't that still day based and lighting for you?
No,
Why would it matter?
because it depends. If the chiyuv is on your house, so the chiyuv is on your house has a menorah. But if the chiyuv is on you, and the way you do it is by lighting in your house, so they did it for me when it was not my mitzvah. Now that it's my mitzvah, no one's lighting for me. And the house is just the location for the gavra's chiyuv. But if the gavra's not in that place, then no one lit for him. But the shayla is, your wife lit for you, you come back the second night, you make a shechianu. So the Bach says that really, this that we say, that the mitzvahs do it on the house, the Bach says, that's the mitzvah shemutal al beisoy, but there's another mitzvah shemutal al gufay. And the way the Machzah Shekel explains it is that there's two mitzvahs. The mitzvah of Persumei Nisa, that's on the house. But then there's the mitzvah of Haidah. There's a mitzvah to thank Hashem for the miracle. You have to do that yourself. So that you never fulfilled. And Mamela, that, when you come back the second night, you should make shechion on that chiluk of the mitzvah. Magen Avram says, no, there's only one mitzvah on the bias. There's no second part of the mitzvah on the gavra. And Mamela, you fulfilled the whole mitzvah. So it seems like this machlokes Bach, Magen Avram, is really this shaila. Whether the entire mitzvah is on the bias, or is there an element that's mutal on the person himself also. So Lamaisa, this is the time zone. The time zone question is an interesting nafkamina of this shaila, or the case I'm going to be in, which is not a time zone shaila, but it's a shkia shaila that you're not. They're lighting for you in your house before it's Chanukah for you. So what do you do? So I think it depends on this. If the mitzvah is your house, you're potter, but if the mitzvah is you have to do it. You didn't do it. It seems to be a machlokes.
What about the mitzvah when you don't have a bias and you're walking? What is that?
No, so that's why they were misakin. And since a lot of people can't, that's a shaykhis to the mitzvah by doing birkas haraya, and that's Tosfos kasha. Why weren't they misakin on mezuzah? That's Tosfos and Sukkos kasha. They should have been misakin that on mezuzah also.
I mean, it's not like a chelik. It's just a totally different mitzvah.
Right, and there's a mitzvah of you're only doing haidah, but at least you're shaykh to the mitzvah haidei haidah. But you're not really.
In other words, and if you have a bias, there's no mitzvah sodah.
Or you mekayim it with adlak also. Because you're there, you're saying it's Shechianu Shasanisim, you're saying it, so.
What about the case when you're not saying it? When your wife lit for you, so you're saying you don't make a shechianu the next night, so.
If your wife lit for you, so what? That's the Magen Avraham saying. If your wife lit for you, so that's the mitzvah. The entire mitzvah is the haidah, and you did it. The Bach is saying, no, there's two elements to the mitzvah, so you do one of them at least. That's what you're saying.
If she likes you can make a birkas haraya.
If she lights for you at home, then we pass and you don't make a birkas haraya.
Not shotgun either.
What?
Not shotgun either.
Right. So now the shaila is, right, so my case, by the time it's night for me,
It's no longer Chanukah for her.
What?
It's no longer even Chanukah for her.
No, we're talking about Sunday night. It's still the last night Hanukkah. By the time it's Shkia over there, it's like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. It's in the summer. Here Shkia is 5. So maybe make sure light big candles that it's still lit 3 hours later.
Have a light later.
Right.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's probably a good
You probably
idea.
end up with two chiyuv. These strange cases also. What happens if you're going, like, let's say, to Australia?
It's not after Hanukkah. It's still the night of Hanukkah.
Yeah, you're over the
No.
international date line, you're a day
I'm not at the date line. Right. It's still
Well, I'm
Hanukkah.
saying, what happens in that case? That's also weird. You could end up with.
Okay, but that's Stam V'Shaila Kol Tarkula. You have that question. Okay, Rabbi Say.
Why did they Shechianu like
Shkoyach.
Rosh Hashanah?
Freilich and Chanukah. Next week there's no shir. I'm going to be in Argentina.
Rabbi,